if you actually follow along with like all my content and watch my videos, you probably have seen this NAS strategy, but you also probably know that I'm not the biggest fan of NAS or S&P and stuff like that. I think it's pretty inconsistent. I think that, yeah, they can make you money, but gold and other pairs like that will make you rich. Two completely different things. Okay, so realistically, guys, this is super freaking simple. This is not going to be a long video. So overall, you kind of want to find your bias, but realistically, at the end of the day, it doesn't always go like that. But just because we had some sort of consolidation here, and then we had a break above that, that to me was what set my bias as looking for sells. Because if you look at this in, an overall trading knowledge sense, if you will, this is a PO3, which means consolidation break, meaning price is going to reverse. If you would have looked at this trade specifically in just an overall where the market's at, you would have got stopped out. But that's why it's kind of important to not only look at that, but go into higher time frames and kind of look at what's going on. I'm going to assume, again, if you're here, that you have some sort of knowledge, and that at this point you're able to pick out your bias. But anyways, I'm just explaining this is why my bias was looking for sells. So the first thing you're going to want to do is obviously wait for market to open, 9:30. Do not be trading this before that. It's not going to go over well. Again, it's just part of following rules and everything else that I always talk about. We also have this zone marked up as just kind of a target area where you can see there's a lot of liquidity and volume and stuff going on, which is something to keep in mind after this. So now that we've gone through the bias and everything else, the first thing you actually want to look for is a candle going in the direction that you are looking for. So as you can see here, we are looking for a red candle on the 15-minute time frame. What you want to see is a candle that has the top wick that is bigger than the body and the bottom wick itself. Obviously, these are two completely different sizes, and that's what you want. If you're looking for a sell, you want a bigger top wick. If you're looking to buy, you would essentially look for something like this candle right here. See, this is also a trade that honestly you could have placed at this point, 2 p.m. the previous day. This would have worked out perfectly. But anyways, you want to look for a candle that goes with your bias, with a bigger wick than the body and the other part of the wick itself. As you can see, we have exactly that, and you're going to want to mark it out. So we marked out ours right here, just the wick. Then you're going to want to go to a 3-minute time frame. Now that you're on the 3-minute time frame, what you want to see starting from this exact spot where you marked out your wick is a break below the zone. So this red zone, as you can see, we have that here. We have a break. Next thing you want to do is look for a candle coming back into the zone and closing there. As you can see, this green candle right here came back into the zone and closed right in it. So now you have, okay, this is the beginning of your zone. Now you're looking for a break. You have your break. You have your candle closing within the zone. What do you want to see next? The next thing you want to see, and essentially your confirmation to get in for a trade, is a candle coming back out of the zone because you're looking for a sell and closing outside of it. As you can see, we have that right here. This red candle right here would have been where you get in for an entry. Just like this, stop loss above the zone, so above the 15-minute wick, and then you can do realistically 2 to 1. Again, if you've been here, you know I'm not a huge fan, but for this strategy especially, pretty solid. 2 to 1 is usually something that works very, very well, but personally, I like to target previous lows. As we talked about earlier, I had marked out this zone, which as you can see would have played out perfectly. A 1 to 4.5 risk to reward ratio. You literally can't go wrong. It's extremely simple that it's almost hard to believe works, but I've backtested this strategy a whole bunch. I have used it quite a bit when I was leaning more towards trading NASDAQ. And as you can see, it's beautiful. So again, first thing, you want a 15-minute. Let's just change this color actually. Okay, 15-minute. You want to mark out a longer wick than body plus other side wick. Next, 3-minute time frame. What you want to see is a break of zone towards your bias. So if you're looking for a sell, you want a break below. Then retracement back into zone, closing inside the zone was our Greek candle right here. And then the last thing you want is reversal back to bias and a candle closing outside of zone. Now you have these three things. One is your zone. Number one, this is a one, just pretend. Number two is this green candle. Number three is this red candle. Now that you have all this, okay, cool, perfect. Entry, stop loss above zone, TP, 2-to-1, or recent target bubbles. Extremely simple. Extremely simple. As you can see, where was it that I had shown you guys earlier? Well, we are way too far. Right here, 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Same exact idea. Zone marked up. Go down to a 3-minute time frame. This, you could have pretty much entered quite literally anywhere. But again, as we remember, what we want to see is a break. Perfect. Break outside of the zone. Now this could be a singular candle or it could be a few, it does not matter. But what you really want to focus on is when you're looking for step number 2, which is, a candle to close inside the zone. You want full candles, like you want a whole body candle to close. You're not looking at a wick, like this would not, you cannot enter off of this. You haven't closed outside of the zone. This is just a wick. You're not looking for that. You want a full body closing into or out of the zone. So as you can see, right here, you have blah, 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 price is coming, break outside of the zone, come back into the zone, full body candle closes into the zone. Now the only thing you're waiting for after this is for a candle to close outside of the zone, a full body candle. As you can see, we have this right here. This could have been your entry automatically, right here. Boom. Entry, stop loss, just below the zone. Now, targeting recent highs. You have this high you can target. You have these highs you can target. You would be in there for quite some time, but as you can see, it works out perfectly. 1 to almost 3 risk to reward. You could have even kept going and shot even further for all of these highs right here. It's all up to you, your risk, and whatever you're comfortable doing. But it's so freaking simple. It happens quite literally every single day, if not every other day. Like realistically, it's super, super reliable. It's often, you can't really go wrong. It's very simple. The only thing you need to remember is to find your bias and find it properly. If you see a reversal, if you see whatever the case is, you really want to pay attention to that and make sure, like you see here, this also just could have been a sign of reversal. Boom. This fair value gap getting closed below. Okay, now I know that I'm looking for sells. It's that simple. It all just depends on what your take is on looking for reversals, looking for bias, deciding what your bias is. But truly, guys, like this is a simple strategy that you can use every single day. Um, it has helped me to grow accounts for quite some time. I just, got over my whole NAS phase. But for those who do trade NAS, this is something super, super, super simple that you can use. You quite literally cannot fuck this up. Like it's 3 steps. You have it all right here. Take a screenshot if you have to, or watch this again. Super short, super simple, super effective.